Welcome back, welcome back. Um, let's find out another historical event that keeps my people down. So when people say, why are you guys angry? Why are you guys, this and that? We're past angry. You know why? Because when other people complain and make us, sound like nothing and trash and yous never did nothing. Yous are all fucking gangsters and did, right? So, we already came out of slavery, which proves we're the nicest people ever. Because, when you're the slave, that means you're being brutalized. And everyone around you is evil. So, we survived through that. Get it? We survived it. And then we get out.
Black Americans were robbed of $1.3 billion of today's dollars right after.
Wait, what did he say?
Did you know black Americans were robbed of $1.3 billion of today's dollars right after slavery? At a time when people were saying that ex-slaves couldn't make it on their own, the Freedmen's Bank was built to prove the opposite. In 1865, Congress set up what was
The Freeman's Bank or the Freemason Bank?
thought to be a black-owned bank to help newly freed black Americans. It was supposed to assist ex-slaves in becoming financially responsible, safely storing their money, and creating savings to support the future generation. But it
Oh, so in order for us to actually get up in any fucking way, we must understand money and then open up our own shit and do business with each other. Oh yeah, the Bible says that.
turned out to be one of the biggest scams in history. While it was initially successful, the bank failed because of its mismanagement and fraud. When the bank collapsed, it owed almost $3 million to over 61,000 depositors. It was basically the cornerstone of the racial wealth gap we see.
Have you ever heard of that? Has your people been robbed of $3 million? 60 million of your 60,000 of your people robbed of $3 million each. Do you understand that means these people poured in everything he had, and then someone said, "Thank you, nigger. Bye bye."
Today, here is the true story of Freedmen's Bank. Starting off with the bank's foundation. Today, it's normal for many of us to have our own savings account. But for formerly enslaved people, many of whom never had any money, this was a foreign concept. In a society driven by capitalism, it was, and still is, crucial to learn how to manage money to survive.
How the fuck did we figure out in 40 years after slavery to build complete different towns? We building banks, and now you ask a fucking average black person how to open a bank account, they don't know. But, if we didn't get, destroyed and robbed, I wonder if they would have taught their children financial literacy. Oh yeah, my father said the only reason you black motherfuckers are dying is because of a lack of knowledge. Because you're dumb. So what's the weapon they used against us really? Oh, we gotta keep these niggas dumb.
The concept of savings banks for black Americans can be traced back to the Civil War. At that time, almost 180,000 black people fought for the Union. Some were
180,000 black men joined the army to fight to become free, get free, and then get robbed. Imagine that.
slaves. They were paid for their services, but received much less than their white counterparts. During this time, pay
Dudes had to fight for their freedom and get paid less doing that. Yo, we get robbed the entire way. It's ridiculous. How much blood, how much stuff was we give yous? We give you our inventions, we allow you to steal our ideas, we work for you, we build railroads, we build cities, and we do everything just to be left alone and join the game. And say, can we join the game? We don't want to get more power than you. We understand that that's why you burned our cities to the ground. We understand that's why you fucking wow out. Because we want to be in the game and be fighting for the crown. And we understand now, we don't want the crown. We just want to get on the board. and be left alone. Yous can fight for who's the best race. Yous can fight for we're the best market business, and we just want to get up a little bit, and then we stop, and then we leave everybody alone, and then y'all can make money with us. We're not greedy. Do you understand that? We've been taken from fucking everything. We served in slavery, after slavery. We get robbed out of fucking jobs, houses, and homes. And then we don't go crazy and fucking Moloch on yous and say, you know what, they're never going to play nice to us. Let's just start going crazy. Let's just start going crazy on regular people. Fuck the big people. There's nothing we can do against them. But these normies that are right next to me that literally watch this shit, we can do something to them. We don't even go crazy. We just keep taking the fucking abuse. Oh yeah, because you erased it out of our minds and we don't know how much we got robbed. We actually think we gotta start all over. Started from the bottom, and we here. Started from the bottom and my whole team's still fucking there.
Masters in charge of black military units were granted the authority to allow every soldier to set aside a specific portion of their earnings to be directed towards either a family member or to the government for savings. These accumulated savings would then be returned to the soldiers upon their discharge. However, during that period, few banks would allow black Americans to store their money or open an account safely. The very first official bank for black Americans was the Free Labor Bank. It was established in 1864 in New Orleans.
You're not allowed to save your money in our bank, nigger. You can make money, but no, you're not allowed to save money. So we go, okay, no problem. We're going to make our own bank then.
Those who could deposit were free black men and soldiers who owned property in New Orleans. Other depositors included half-free black people who worked on federally controlled plantations in Louisiana.
Imagine that. If you're still a slave during this time, you automatically can't save money. You know you could buy your freedom back then, right? But you can't save money.
The proceeds from plantation sales also went straight into the bank. For many ex-slaves, this was their first experience in financial management. In South Carolina and Virginia, black soldiers and recently emancipated slaves could use military savings banks. But after the war ended, one of the banks still held on to $200,000. This was because the soldiers who had made deposits had either passed away without traceable relatives, or they had been reassigned to different locations, or discharged from service without realizing they could retrieve their funds. Unfortunately, many ex-slaves had no idea how the banking system worked. And
oh, so if you have a lot of money and you're like a black person and you die, your money's going back to the system. I mean, they don't give a fuck about what you did. You're going back. All that shit's going back. They're going to claim all your prizes and everything. They're going to auction your shit off. And it's like you never existed. Now do you understand why you got to have a child? Now do you understand why we have to fix our fucking women? We have no choice. Or your life is build shit up and then when you go, everyone, you did nothing. You don't even exist anymore. You get it? Pull your fucking head out your ass and reclaim your woman, goddammit.
no one was there to help them out. As the war drew to a close, measures had to be taken to protect these substantial, unclaimed deposits. Furthermore, since significant amounts of pay and bounties were owed to black American soldiers, a plan was necessary to assist them in saving their earnings. At first, the 13th Amendment promised newly freed slaves a mule and 40 acres of land. But Southerners and some of their allies in the North hated.
Do you understand that it's a fucking constitutional law and right that once we get free, I am automatically granted 40 acres and a fucking mule to work the land? That's freedom. All of this other shit is not freedom, and if it is, I don't give a fuck. I want what's in that goddamn contract. Yous did so much. Can we go back to that one thing? Can I get my motherfucking mule and well, we don't need mules anymore. Can I get my motherfucking tractor, my ho-ho equipment, and let me go off into this wilderness and find decent land, and can we fucking start all over again? You know? Can we start all over again? You used to have concrete jungle cities, and we ain't gonna be able to build better shit than this now. You get it? So we're gonna go back to the 40s and we're gonna go back to digging wells and shit. We don't go back to no electricity and shit. We gonna go back to the lifestyle that yous don't want. That way, when we build it, you ain't gonna want to take that shit over. What is there to take over? You gonna go back to the past? Y'all niggas don't want to live without y'all goddamn cell phones and lights. Y'all don't want to go back to candles and reading shit and making libraries and growing your own food. Y'all don't want to do that. So when we go back to our father's way, like our father told us, and now we have knowledge, you know, now we won't compete with you and try to be better. No, we'll just go live the old ways, which will make you leave us alone, because then we'll just be regular ass people and we won't be rich. We'll be rich in spirit. We'll be rich in unity. We'll be rich in I can walk outside and not have to think, am I getting hated on today? Am I getting robbed at this job? Am I this and that? At least I can think, am I going to get beat up by my own people? Am my own people going to rob me? You know, we still got to deal with that shit.
The idea, so it was removed from the legislation. Instead, a different solution was offered, one that would benefit everyone involved. A group of white philanthropists and businessmen devised a plan to merge all of these banks into one savings institution, the Freedmen's Savings and Trust Company, or as the people would call it, the Freedmen's Bank. Now, Black Americans finally had their own bank, just for them. It was built with a very noble purpose, to help Black people build a stable life.
Yeah, right.
The founders of the Freedmen's Savings Bank were respected businessmen.
It was built by motherfucking Freemasons. That's why they call it the Freeman's Bank. And them black motherfuckers knew you don't know shit and you trust them, and they gonna rob your black ass because they're not like you. They look like you, but like Kendrick said, they're not like us. They're not like us. See, use with the fucking cornball. Well, black people did it to you. Y'all sold each other in slavery, and y'all. We know the trick. There's other nations of black people that look like us and that are not us. You put us all together. That way we can trust each other and not realizing we're with our enemies. And our enemies are going to pretend to be us. We're so convinced that if a nigga got money, then he did good. So you only allow them to get the fuck up and then say, look, we smart. We done did this, and we made deals with the white man. And we look, if y'all follow me and you get down with me, and everything be alright. And then every fucking time we get robbed, something happens. It's always something. It's always something. And we're catching on to the game. We're waking up to realizing they not like us. They not like us. And your long speeches and your fancy suits, that shit ain't gonna work no more, bro. Why? Because we're in a time of information. So what black people are gonna start doing now, when you want to be the leader, when you want to try to, we're going to look your fucking information up, and when we see you have ties to these people, you're going to be thrown to the wayside, and we're not going to fuck with you, and we're just going to expose you, and the more we expose you faggot ass niggas, the more we're going to get shit done, because we know we can't get shit done with yous, because yous are fucking traitors.
Members, abolitionists, and reformers, they took the initiative to create a bank based on a principle of the 19th century savings bank movement. This movement advocated for work and careful use of resources so that the working class could overcome poverty. People could open an account with just 5 cents in their pocket and earn interest on deposits of $1 or higher. The majority of deposits were modest, averaging less than $60. Over 100,000 people, including carpenters, cooks, farmers, nurses, and barbers, stashed their very first paychecks in the...
Oh, we were all of those things? We weren't just, farmers and shoe shine boys and drinking city jazz, and we actually did regular jobs? I mean, we would know how to do those regular jobs because in slavery we were the ones doing all those things. So even though we can't read, we know how to do things because, we were forced to, So we're going to take that knowledge and then we're going to go learn how to read, and then,
The bank had an open system that appeared to be completely resistant to any form of corruption.
Stop saying we're lazy because we were slaves and that means you have to work hard. Stop saying we're stupid because without knowing how to fucking actually read and shit, we still know how to do things. Do you do things and not know how to read? Did you build entire cities without the government's help? Did your grandpappy do that? Did your grandpappy get robbed over and over, and then his children's children still grew up and still made shit happen? And did you? No. So when we say you're not like us, it's not to shame you and say, well, we're better. You don't have to face this life like we do. Everything we overcome, every time we survive, every single day we breathe is a miracle. You don't get that. You don't get it. You don't know what it's like to literally psychologically be beating your fucking head, never learn none of this shit, and literally can't think of anything to feel proud about yourself while everybody else runs around with your fucking name or things you did, and they make you believe you did it. They did it. And then you go and read their books and history and shit, and they say, no, you did it, nigger. You did it. You didn't know?
Officers traveled to various states in the South and black districts to set up branches and encourage people to save their money. The people could then withdraw the money at any time. The future trustees submitted a proposal to Congress, and on that very day in 1865,
allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is...
Abraham Lincoln signed a bill that established both the Freedmen's Bureau and Freedmen's Bank as an early welfare system. This bank is just what the freedmen need, said President Lincoln on March 3rd when he signed the bill a little more than a month later.
Oh, so this bank was the first welfare system. Oh! Yeah, look how that turned out.
It was assassinated, making this bank Lincoln's last act of emancipation. In total, the bank had 37 branches across 17 states, mainly in the South. It amassed millions of dollars, initially passed in New York City. Its headquarters were later relocated to Washington, D.C. In 1868, over time, approximately 50% of the bank's staff were black. Every branch had a group of respected local property owners serving as advisors or directors. Each depositor received a passbook that was used to record all their withdrawals and deposits. Over the course of a few years, nearly 72,000 people were actively saving with the bank. By 1873, an extensive network of over 670 savings banks was thriving in the United States, mainly in the North. These banks collected deposits from about 2 million people. That's about 5% of the American population, which makes up nearly 20% of all financial institution assets at that time. The Freedmen's Savings Bank devised an excellent strategy. They had a social mission. They believed that if newly freed slaves worked hard and managed their money wisely, they could become financially independent. The bank wanted to help ex-slaves learn about working diligently, saving money, and being careful with their resources. This way, in the future, they won't have to rely on government aid. In 1870, a newspaper called the New National Era said that the bank was doing a great job in teaching black people these essential habits. They believed it was crucial for their success. The Freedmen's Savings Bank was groundbreaking in many ways. Number one, it was a savings bank that worked mainly in the South, in places where such banks had never existed before. Number two, this bank was unique because it specifically tried to help newly freed slaves by providing banking services. Number three, it was the first bank to have branches in different states since the Second Bank of the United States. Number four, it was one of the only banks Congress officially approved and kept an eye on. The other federally approved banks, national banks, were established.
So you mean to tell me it's such a big, good system, it's the second greatest idea bank system compared to the white people, so much that the government's watching everything, but these motherfuckers got robbed, and, I gotta sound the horns, I gotta figure out that probably my great-great-grandpappy got fucking robbed out of something else. Like, it's one thing with the freedom and the slavery and the reparations and the... Then I gotta find out that maybe my grandfather, I may have had millions of dollars. I may have millions of dollars I'll never even know how to access because they beat our brains into, the mothers don't like the fathers and we don't talk about where we're from and da-da-da. Because my people are originally from down south. So I wonder if y'all stole from my fucking family. My grandmother comes from Georgia and my mother, it says they moved to North Carolina and Florida and then we moved up north. Oh yeah, that's all the places y'all keep taking over and pushing us. So I wonder if in my bloodline we got robbed multiple years. I wonder.
And overseen by the American government
I
was the
wonder.
Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, OCC. The bank directors
I wonder if I'm
set up
supposed
the
to be
first
a
branch
millionaire right
close
now.
to where black
By
troops were
fucking
stationed.
default.
Since these troops were already aware of military savings, they were more likely to use the bank's services. As time passed and the bank built its reputation, the directors started opening branches in different states. Some of the bank records have been lost to time,
Yeah, I bet.
but historians have found plenty that still exist. Here is a bank record for Dilla Warren, opened in 1869. These surviving records are basically mini biographies. They contain valuable information about the applicant's spouse, children, former enslaver, and other personal traits that can't be found elsewhere, such.
Oh, so there's actual documents of us, saying where we came from, who enslaved us. You do know that means we're in the future now, and like they made the thing called RICO law, and they hold it against our black asses all the time. What you did in the past can be used against you. Alright, well, we got y'all motherfucking names on paper that y'all human trafficked us, beat, molested, destroyed our children. So when we go find these papers, and we're gonna go to those people's family that are in the future now on our land and have businesses, and you gotta pay reparations individually. Now, do you see why when you people say, I wasn't there, I didn't do nothing? You have things. You have a jump start on life because your grandpa robbed me. You get it? You get it? Do you understand that? See, we could go that route, or we can, just let us go. Let us go free. Let us not go to war and argue over what the peasants, and prove they were involved and start, collecting money from everybody. Because we know that's going to start like this race war, or the government's going to say no, and then we're going to get mad. How about we start these programs over now? And you leave us the fuck alone.
Such as personal injuries, job skills, etc. For someone who is searching for their ancestry, these bank records are a goldmine. Experts studied
really?
surviving account registered records that the National Archives had microfilmed and later digitized. They collected data from 107,197 accounts spread.
Oh, so use are not dumb. Use no papers can be burned or hidden. So use it in photoshopped and documented the shits digitally. So if yous ever try to pull that dumb card, we don't know where shit is. Come on, bro. We know y'all know. We know y'all know the truth. We know y'all know the records. We know your AI bots and bullshit can look up anything and match anything together and all that. So we want you to use your fucking super duper AI bot and put the things in, and then it'll find within a couple of months every single person on record, and it'll know who fucking deserves money and who doesn't, right? That way you can't use that. Well, all these black people are here, and no. It doesn't matter. Their family names are not, you can't track them. They're going to get tracked down to they wasn't here getting abused and robbed. So that's how you're going to give out the money. Because you know exactly what you did.